Nathan Cole opened his eyes slowly. Everything was dark at first. Then colors started to appear. Purple, blue, soft lights moving on the walls. He tried to move his body, but his arms and legs felt heavy like stone. Where was he? The last thing he remembered was the explosion. The cargo ship Starboard Hope had been hit by something. Alarms were screaming. People were running. Then the wall broke open and the cold blackness of space pulled him out. His emergency suit turned on. It pumped something cold into his blood. Then everything went dark. Now he was lying on something soft. It felt alive under his back. The room around him was strange. The walls moved slowly like they were breathing. Everything glowed with soft light. This was not any human place he had ever seen. Nathan tried to sit up. His muscles screamed in pain. He fell back down. How long had he been asleep? It felt like forever. Then he heard a sound. Footsteps. Not human footsteps. Something different. He turned his head to the side. What he saw made his heart stop. Two beings stood next to his bed. They were tall and thin. Their skin changed colors between silver and light purple as he watched. The taller one had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond shape on her face. Strange crystals grew from her head like a crown. They glowed softly. She wore long robes that seemed to be made of light itself. Next to her stood a smaller one, younger. She looked at Nathan with all 4 of her eyes. There was curiosity in them. And something else. Maybe fear. Nathan opened his mouth to speak. Only a dry sound came out. His throat was too dry. The younger one moved fast. She pressed something wet against his lips. Water flowed into his mouth. It tasted strange but good. He drank as much as he could. Slowly, the young one said. Her voice was strange. He felt it in his chest as much as he heard it with his ears. You have been sleeping for a very long time. How long? Nathan managed to ask. His voice sounded like broken glass. 147 of your years, the tall one answered. The words hit Nathan like a punch. 147 years. That was impossible. That meant everyone he knew was dead. His family, his friends, everyone on Earth who remembered him was gone. I am Empress Valeth, the tall one said. I rule the crystalline dominion. This is my daughter, Princess Serana. You are in my palace, human. How did I get here? Nathan asked. One of our scout ships found you floating in space, Valeth explained. Your suit kept you alive, frozen between life and death. Our doctors said it should not have been possible. But here you are. We wanted to cut you open, Serana added, to see how you survived. Mother said no. Nathan was not sure if he should thank the Empress or be scared. Maybe both. Why? He asked. Why did you save me? Valeth moved closer. Her 4 eyes looked into his 2. Nathan could see great age in those eyes. And something else. Something that looked almost like fear. Because your species has become very interesting to us, she said. And very dangerous. Dangerous? Humans? We are just... When we first found your kind, you lived on one planet. Valeth cut him off. You could barely travel between stars. That was less than 200 years ago. Now you live on over 2,000 worlds. Your numbers are in the hundreds of billions. You spread faster than any species we have ever seen. Nathan did not know what to say. Humanity had done all that while he slept. Other species take thousands of years to grow like that, Serana said. You did it in less than 200. It is not normal. It is not natural. We have run many simulations, Valeth continued. We have tried to predict what will happen next. Every simulation ends the same way. Humanity keeps growing. Humanity keeps spreading. And eventually, Humanity becomes the most powerful force in the galaxy. Is that why I am here? Nathan asked. Am I a prisoner? No, Valeth shook her head. You are an opportunity. We have been studying humans for a long time. We have learned your languages and your history. But we still do not understand the most important thing. We do not understand why. Why? What? Why you never stop, Sirana said. She stepped forward, her eyes burning with intensity. Why you keep pushing forward no matter what happens. You were thrown into space. You were left to die. Everyone forgot about you. But your body refused to give up. It kept fighting to stay alive for 147 years. Why? Nathan thought about the question. It was a good question. He remembered his life before the accident. Long shifts on cargo ships. Bad food. Lonely nights. Dreams of something better that kept him going when everything else was hard. Because that is what humans do, he finally said. We do not know how to quit. When we look at the stars, we do not see empty space. We see places to go, things to find, mysteries to solve. The universe is big and cold, and it does not care about us. So we have to be too stubborn to die. Valeth was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. This is what I hoped you would say. This is why I saved you, Nathan Cole. Not to study you. Not to keep you prisoner. But to learn from you. Learn from me? I'm just a cargo worker. You are a human. And my people need to learn how to be more like humans. Valeth stood up straight. The crystalline dominion is old. We have ruled our space for 10,000 years. But we have become slow, careful. We think too much and do too little. Your people will pass us by if we do not change. You want me to teach you how to be human? I want you to teach my daughter, Valeth said. Sirana will be empress after me. She needs to understand what makes your species so strong. She needs to learn to think like a human. Sirana did not look happy about this. But she did not argue with her mother. And what do I get? Nathan asked. A purpose, Valeth answered. A place in this new time you have woken up in. And when you are ready, I will take you to see what humanity has become. You can see your people again. Nathan looked at the Empress. Then he looked at the princess. This was crazy. He was a nobody from a forgotten time. What could he possibly teach an alien princess? But what choice did he have? Everyone he loved was dead. The world he knew was gone. This was his life now. Strange and impossible and scary. Okay, he said. I will do it. Valeth smiled. It looked strange on her alien face, but there was warmth in it. Good. Rest now, Nathan Cole. You have much work ahead of you. As they left the room, Nathan lay back on the strange bed. The soft walls pulsed with light around him. He should have been dead. He should have been nothing, but frozen bones floating in the darkness between. Stars doubt instead he was here, alive, with a chance to do something that mattered. He closed his eyes and smiled. Humanity had done well while he slept. Now it was his turn. 3 months passed. Nathan grew stronger every day. The crystalline doctors used machines and medicines that seemed like magic to him. His muscles came back. His mind cleared. Soon he could walk and run and think as well as he ever had. But the most important thing he did was talk every day he met with Sirana. The princess was a difficult student. She asked too many questions. She argued about everything. She thought humans were strange and confusing. But she kept coming back. And slowly, she started to understand. Let me tell you about something called Dunkirk, Nathan said one afternoon. They were sitting in a room with walls that showed the stars outside. It happened on Earth hundreds of years before I was born. What is Dunkirk? Sirana asked. A beach. A place where an army got trapped. Enemies on all sides. No way out. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers about to die. Nathan leaned forward. Do you know what the humans did? They surrendered? No, they called for boats. Any boats. Fishing boats. Tiny boats people used for fun. Old boats that could barely float. Hundreds of regular people sailed into a war zone to save soldiers they had never met. Serana's 4 eyes blinked. That makes no sense. Those small boats could not carry many soldiers. The people sailing them had no training. It was a stupid plan. It was a crazy plan, Nathan agreed. But it worked. They saved over 300,000 men. Because sometimes the best plan is to just move and figure things out as you go. My people would never do that. We would plan first. Think of every problem. Find the perfect solution. And how long would that take? Serana was quiet. She knew the answer. The crystallines spent years making decisions. Sometimes decades. Sometimes centuries. That is your problem, Nathan said gently. You have all the time in the universe, so you act like it. But time is something you can never get back. Every moment you spend thinking is a moment you are not doing. But what about mistakes? Acting fast leads to mistakes. Sure, humans make mistakes all the time. We fail more than we succeed. But we learn from our failures. We get up and try again. And eventually, we get it right. Before Serana could respond, the walls of the room pulsed with light. A message was coming through. A guard entered and spoke quickly to Serana in the crystalline language. Nathan had learned enough to catch the important words. A ship was coming. A human ship. Nathan felt his heart beat faster. His people. After all this time, he was going to see his people. The ship that landed in the Palace Bay was beautiful, sleek and powerful. It looked nothing like the ships Nathan remembered. This was the product of 150 years of progress. He stared at it with tears in his eyes. 3 people came out of the ship. 2 soldiers with weapons. And a woman. She was tall with dark hair that had some gray in it. She walked like someone who was used to being in charge. I am Ambassador Patricia Lane, she announced. I represent the United Human Coalition. I am here about the human named Nathan Cole. Nathan stepped forward. That would be me. Patricia stared at him. Her eyes moved like she was reading something only she could see. Then her face changed. Surprise, shock, wonder. It is really you, she whispered. Nathan Cole, lost on the cargo ship Starbound Hope, declared dead 147 years ago. I got better. Patricia laughed. It was a surprised, happy sound. Yes, you certainly did. The next few days were filled with meetings. Patricia and Empress Velith talked for hours and hours. They discussed trade and borders and agreements. It was boring and confusing to Nathan. But he understood the important part. The crystalline wanted to be friends with humanity. They were offering technology and help. In return, they wanted humans to teach them. They are afraid of us, Nathan told Patricia during a quiet moment. They have seen how fast we grow. They know they cannot stop us. So they want to learn from us instead. Can we trust them? Patricia asked. I think so. Their fear is real. And Velith is smart. She knows that fighting us would be a mistake. She wants her people to survive and grow. An alliance helps both sides. You have spent 3 months with them. What do you really think? Nathan thought about Serana, about her questions and her arguments, about the way she was slowly changing, learning to think in new ways. I think we should say yes, he said. Not because we need them. We do not. Humanity is strong enough on its own. But because having friends is better than having enemies. And because teaching others what we know is part of who we are. Patricia nodded slowly. That sounds like something a diplomat would say. I am just a cargo worker who got lucky. But I've had a lot of time to think. The alliance was signed 3 days later. There was a big ceremony with lots of speeches. Empress Valeth and Ambassador Patricia made promises of friendship and help. It was broadcast to both human and crystalline worlds. Nathan stood next to Serana, watching it all happen. "You made this possible," she said quietly. "We did it together," he replied. "That is kind of the point." After the ceremony, Patricia found Nathan again. "The Coalition wants you to come home," she said. "There is a place for you on Earth. You are famous now. The man who woke up after 150 years. Everyone wants to meet you." Nathan felt something strange in his chest. Home. He had not thought about Earth in a long time. In his mind, it was still the crowded, polluted planet he had left behind. What was it like now? "I want to come," he said. "But I need to finish what I started here first. Serana is not ready yet. She needs more time." "How much time?" Nathan looked at the princess. She was watching the human diplomats with intense curiosity. Her 4 eyes moved quickly, taking in every detail. "A few more weeks. Maybe a month. Then I will come home." Patricia smiled. "We will be waiting. Do not take too long. You have already missed 150 years. You do not want to miss any more." As the human ship prepared to leave, Nathan walked Serana back to her chambers. The palace was quiet. Most people were still at the celebration. "Will you really leave?" Serana asked. "I have to. Earth is my home. I need to see what it has become. I understand." She paused. "Thank you, Nathan, for teaching me, for being patient with me. You are a good student. Annoying sometimes, but good." Serana made a sound that Nathan had learned was crystalline laughter. "You are a good teacher. Strange, but good." They stood together for a moment, looking out at the stars. Two very different beings, from two very different worlds, but connected now by something that might be friendship, or maybe something more. "I will come back," Nathan said. "After I see Earth, I will come back, and we will continue." "I will hold you to that promise," Serana replied. Nathan nodded. He would keep his word. He had already lost one life. He was not going to waste this second chance. The universe was vast and strange and full of wonders, and Nathan Cole was finally ready to see them all. Earth was green. That was the first thing Nathan noticed when the shuttle broke through the clouds. The planet below was covered in forests and clean oceans and bright cities that reached toward the sky. Gardens grew on the sides of buildings. Rivers sparkled with clear water. The air smelled fresh and alive. This was not the Earth he remembered. The Earth he had left was dying. Too many people. Too much pollution. Not enough hope. But this Earth was beautiful. What happened? Nathan asked Patricia, who sat beside him. "We almost destroyed it," she said. "The records from your time are sad to read. But humans are good at one thing above all else. We are good at fixing our mistakes. It took time and work and sacrifice. But we saved our home." The shuttle landed in a city that Nathan did not recognize. Tall buildings covered in plants surrounded a central plaza where thousands of people had gathered. They were there to see him, the man who had been lost for 150 years. Nathan stepped off the shuttle and the crowd cheered. He waved, feeling strange and small. These people saw him as something special. But he was just a cargo worker who had gotten lucky. Nothing more. The next weeks were busy. Reporters wanted to talk to him. Historians wanted to ask him questions about the past. Politicians wanted to take pictures with him. Everyone wanted something. But what Nathan wanted was to understand. He spent hours reading about everything that had happened while he slept. The wars and the peace treaties. The new technologies and the old problems that were finally solved. The colonies on other planets. The meetings with alien species. And the expansion. Always the expansion. We could not stop ourselves, Patricia explained one evening. They were sitting on a balcony looking out over the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Every time we thought we had enough, someone wanted more. Every time we found a new limit, someone pushed past it. The crystalline are scared of that, Nathan said. They should be. But not because we are cruel. We are not trying to hurt anyone. We just cannot sit still. We see a mountain and we want to climb it. We see an ocean and we want to cross it. We see stars and we want to visit them all. Is that good or bad? Patricia thought about it. Both. We have made terrible mistakes. Wars with aliens that did not need to happen. Colonies that failed and left people dead. Decisions made too fast without enough thinking. She paused. But we have also done amazing things. We have brought life to dead worlds. We have cured diseases that killed millions. We have built things that no other species could imagine. Nathan nodded. It was a strange thing to be proud of a species he barely knew anymore. But he was proud. Despite all the problems, humanity had grown into something wonderful. His quiet time ended when Serana arrived on Earth. She came with a small group of crystalline diplomats. It was the first time any crystalline had visited the human homeworld. People stared at her as she walked through the city. Her silver-purple skin and 4 eyes made her very different from everyone around her, but she held her head high. She was a princess, after all. You were right again, she said when they finally had a moment alone. Humans are not dangerous because they are cruel. They are dangerous because they never stop trying. Is that a compliment? It is the truth. Serana looked out at the city around them. I have been reading your history. So much pain. So much death. Wars and plagues and disasters. Any other species would have given up long ago. But humans just kept going. What else could we do? Giving up was never an option. They walked together through the streets. People moved around them, living their lives. Children played in parks. Workers hurried to jobs. Old people sat on benches and watched the world go by. It was normal and boring and beautiful. I have bad news, Serana said suddenly. Nathan stopped walking. What kind of bad news? The Vorlon Collective is preparing for war. They believe humans must be stopped before it is too late. They have been building a fleet for 10 years. Nathan felt cold. War? Nobody told me about this. Perhaps they did not want to worry you. Or perhaps they did not think you needed to know. Serana's 4 eyes were serious. But I thought you should hear the truth. The Vorlon have asked the Crystalline Dominion to join them against humanity. What did your mother say? She refused. Our alliance is real. But the fact that they asked is concerning. It means they think they can win without us. Nathan thought about this for a long time. War. After everything humanity had built, war was coming. It seemed unfair. But the universe was not fair. It never had been. I need to do something, he said. I cannot just sit here and wait for the fighting to start. What can you do? You are not a soldier. No, but I have ideas. And people listen to me now. He looked at Serana. Will you help me? Yes, whatever you need. Nathan requested a meeting with the military leaders of the coalition. It took some time, but his fame opened doors that would have been closed to anyone else. The meeting room was full of serious people in uniforms. Screens showed maps of space and the positions of fleets. The Vorlon were powerful. Their ships were many. It would not be an easy fight. What is their psychology? Nathan asked. How do they think about war? They are careful planners, one commander answered. They use overwhelming force and expect quick victories. They do not like long fights or surprises. Then, we do not fight their way. We make them fight our way. Hit and run attacks. Small strikes that hurt them and disappear. We make the war so long and painful that they decide it is not worth it. That is not how we usually operate, another commander said. Then maybe it is time to try something new. I have been studying history. Human history. Every time we faced an enemy stronger than us, we won by changing the rules. By being creative. By refusing to play their game. The commanders looked at each other. Nathan knew he was just a civilian. He had no real power here. But he could see them thinking about his words. Consider it, he said. If the old ways work, use them. But have a backup plan. Something the Vorlon have never seen. The meeting lasted for hours. Nathan talked when he could and listened when he could not. By the end, nothing official had been decided. But seeds had been planted. Ideas were growing that would not have existed without him. Serana was waiting when he came out. You did well, she said. I do not know about that. I just said what seemed obvious. Sometimes the obvious thing is the hardest to see. Nathan smiled. She was learning. Really learning. I want to help, Serana said. If war comes, I want to fight. Your mother would never allow it. My mother is not here, and I am old enough to make my own choices. Her 4 eyes met his too. You taught me that action is better than endless thinking. That taking risks is how progress happens. Well, this is my risk. This is my action. Nathan looked at her for a long moment. She was not the same princess who had watched him wake up 3 months ago. She had grown, changed, become something new. Okay, he said. But we do this together. Partners. Partners, Serana agreed. They shook hands. Human and crystalline. Different in so many ways. But united now by something stronger than biology. War was coming. The galaxy was about to change. And Nathan Cole, the man who had slept through 150 years of history, was going to be right in the middle of it. He was not afraid. Fear was for people who had something to lose. Nathan had already lost everything once. Whatever came next, he would face it head on. That was the human way. The war started with death. Haven Ridge was a small colony on the edge of human space. Farmers and miners lived there. Families who wanted quiet lives away from the busy central worlds. About 50,000 people called it home. The Vorlon fleet came without warning. Their ships filled the sky, and their weapons turned the colony to ash. By the time human rescue ships arrived, nothing was left but smoke and silence. The news spread fast. Every human world heard about Haven Ridge, and something changed. Anger grew. Determination hardened. People who had never thought about war suddenly wanted to fight. Recruitment offices were flooded with volunteers. Factories started building weapons. Nathan watched the broadcasts with Serana beside him. They were on the battleship Relentless, part of the human fleet assembled to fight back. Nathan was not a commander. He did not give orders. But the officers asked for his advice, and he gave it freely. 50,000 people, Serana said quietly. To my kind, that is not many. A single city on our homeworld holds more. It is not about numbers, Nathan replied. Each of those people had dreams. Families who loved them. Stories that will never be finished now. When you turn lives into statistics, you forget what really matters. Serena was quiet for a moment. My people often do that. We live so long that death becomes abstract, distant. I think that is part of why we have become so slow. We have forgotten what it feels like to lose. The fleet moved through space toward the Vorlon staging area. 12 big battleships, 40 smaller cruisers, 200 support vessels. It was a strong force. But reports said the Vorlon had more. Nathan spent the journey preparing. He studied tactical simulations. He talked with commanders. He trained with the soldiers who would board enemy ships. His body had been made stronger by crystalline technology. He could fight now as well as any Marine. "You have a gift," Commander Lisa Grant told him. She was in charge of the Relentless. "You see patterns that our computers miss. You think in ways we do not." "I just ask different questions," Nathan said. "Everyone focuses on what the enemy will do. I wonder what they will not do. What they will think is impossible. That is where we find our chances." The battle came faster than anyone expected. Vorlon ships appeared on sensors. Many more than predicted. Almost 2-to-1 against the human fleet. The enemy formed up in neat formations, expecting a traditional fight. Ships against ships. Guns against guns. Instead, the human fleet scattered. Small groups of ships darted between the enemy. They attacked from strange angles and ran away before the Vorlon could respond. It was chaos. Controlled chaos. Nathan worked from the Relentless bridge. He watched data streams and called out targets. Beside him, Serana tracked communications with her 4 eyes, processing information faster than any human could. "Their command ship," she announced suddenly. "It is exposed. The cruisers protecting it are out of position." Nathan saw it immediately. A small window, maybe minutes before it closed. He told Commander Grant. "We do not have enough guns to destroy a command ship," Grant said. "We do not need to destroy it. Just hurt it. Disable its systems. Cut off their coordination, and their whole fleet falls apart." Grant hesitated for 1 second. Then she started giving orders. 4 cruisers raced toward the vulnerable command ship. The rest of the fleet created distractions, keeping the Vorlon busy. It was risky, crazy, exactly the kind of thing humans did best. The cruisers reached the command ship and opened fire. Their weapons pounded the enemy vessel's engines. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. The command ship went dark, drifting dead and silent. Without central coordination, the Vorlon fleet broke apart. Individual captains made their own decisions. Some attacked. Some retreated. None worked together. The human fleet exploited every gap, every moment of confusion. By the time the battle ended, the Vorlon had lost 1/3 of their ships. Human losses were real but manageable. More importantly, the myth that the Vorlon could not be beaten was shattered. Nathan sat in his chair as the adrenaline faded. The bridge crew was celebrating, but he felt only tired. "Your strategy worked," Serana said. "Our strategy. We did this together. And it is just the beginning. The Vorlon will learn from this. They will come back smarter. We need to stay ahead." Other alien species watched the battle closely. Some decided to join the Vorlon, afraid of what humanity might become. Others approached the coalition, impressed by the victory and interested in friendship. The strangest message came from the Silent Ones. They were a species so secretive the humans had only proven they existed 10 years ago. Nobody knew much about them, but now they wanted to talk. Nathan was chosen for the meeting. Patricia Lane came too, along with diplomats and guards. Serana insisted on joining. They traveled to a dead star system where the Silent Ones had a hidden base. The aliens who met them were like nothing Nathan had seen. Tall and thin, wrapped in dark robes that seemed to swallow light. They did not speak with words. Instead, they sent vibrations through the air that translation machines struggled to understand. "We have watched your species for a long time," the leader communicated. "You are a contradiction, capable of great destruction and great creation. The potential for both lies within you." "That is true of all thinking beings," Patricia said. "Perhaps, but none express it so completely. The Vorlon see only your danger. They want to destroy you before you destroy them. They are wrong. But their fear makes sense. What do you see? Nathan asked. The Silent One was quiet for a long moment. We see a species that has not decided what it will become. You stand at a crossroads. The path you choose in this war will shape everything that follows. Choose destruction, and you will burn bright and die fast. Choose creation, and you may do things that even the oldest species have only dreamed of. How do we choose creation in the middle of a war? Sirana asked. By remembering why you fight. Not for revenge, not for power, but for the chance to build something better. The Vorlon fight because they fear. You must fight because you hope. That is the difference that will decide everything. The meeting ended without any formal agreement. The Silent Ones would not join either side. But they would watch. They would judge. They would wait to see what humanity chose to be. On the journey back, Nathan thought about what the Silent One had said. Hope versus fear. Creation versus destruction. Simple words. Hard to live by. We need to end this war, he said to Patricia. Not just win it. End it in a way that does not create the next war. That is easier to say than do. I know. But we have to try. If we just beat the Vorlon into the ground, they will never forgive us. They will rebuild and come back for revenge. The cycle will never stop. What do you suggest? Nathan was quiet for a moment. I am not sure yet. But I know it starts with understanding. Understanding why they fear us. And finding a way to fix that fear without giving up who we are. Patricia nodded. That is a big job. Yeah, but humans specialize in big jobs. We would not know what to do with ourselves if things were easy. She laughed despite everything. True enough. The war was not over. More battles were coming. More death. More pain. But somewhere in the darkness, there was a path forward. A way to end this with hope instead of hate. Nathan was determined to find it. The war lasted 3 more years. 3 years of fighting and talking. 3 years of death and deals. Nathan was part of all of it. He fought in some battles and advised in others. He watched friends die and enemies fall. He helped build friendships with species that once hated humanity. And slowly, step by step, the tide turned. The Vorlon were not crushed in some final great battle. There was no moment of total victory. Instead, there was a slow understanding on both sides. The war was costing too much. The gains were too small. Something had to change. Peace talks began. Nathan was at the center of them. His strange position, a man from the past living in the present, made him useful. He could talk to anyone. He understood humans and aliens both. And people trusted him in a way they did not trust politicians. Sirana worked beside him. She was not the curious princess who had watched him wake up years ago. She had grown into something stronger, smarter, more like the human she had spent so much time learning about. They are scared, Nathan told the human delegation during a difficult moment. The Vorlon are not evil. They are just afraid. Afraid of what we might become. Afraid of being left behind while we remake the galaxy. We need to fix that fear. By limiting ourselves? One delegate asked. By including them. They do not want to be forgotten. They do not want to become nothing while humanity keeps growing. So we invite them to grow with us. We make them partners instead of enemies. We show them there is room for everyone. It was not easy. Some people wanted revenge. Some people wanted to crush the Vorlon so completely they could never threaten anyone again. Those voices were loud and angry, but Nathan kept pushing. He kept finding common ground. He kept reminding everyone what the Silent Ones had said. Hope versus fear. Creation versus destruction. The treaty was signed on a space station built just for this moment. It sat in neutral space, belonging to no one. A symbol of cooperation instead of conquest. The terms were complicated. Rules for trade. Rules for expansion. Ways to solve problems without fighting. It was not perfect. No treaty ever was. But it was a start. Nathan stood at a window, watching delegates from a dozen species celebrate. Humans and Voyland shook hands. Crystalline and others exchanged formal greetings. It looked like something from a dream. Serana found him there. "You did it," she said. "You ended the war. We did it. Everyone did." He looked at her. "Your mother was right, back at the beginning. Humans never stop. We keep pushing no matter what. But that does not mean we have to push alone. We can bring everyone else with us. My people are already changing. What you taught me, what I brought back to them, it is spreading. They are starting to dream again. To want things they had forgotten were possible. Good. The universe is too big to face without dreams." There was one more thing Nathan needed to do. He went back to the place where his old life had ended. The sector of space where the stalwart hope had been destroyed. Where he had drifted alone in the darkness for over a century. The wreckage was still there. Pieces of the cargo ship floating in the endless black. Somewhere among those fragments were the remains of his old crewmates. People who had not been as lucky as him. Nathan floated in a small pod, looking at what was left of his past. He spoke their names out loud. Each one. Honoring them in the only way he could. "I made it," he said finally. "I do not know why I survived when you did not. Maybe it was just luck. Maybe there was a reason. But I have tried to make it count. I have tried to do something good with the extra time I was given." He stayed there for a long while, remembering, thinking. Then he turned the pod around and headed back to where Serana was. Waiting. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders. Humanity was still growing, still dreaming, still reaching for the stars. And Nathan Cole had found his place in it, not as a ghost from the past, but as a bridge to the future, not as a soldier or a politician, but as something simpler, a human being, doing what humans do best, hoping, trying, never giving up. 1 year later, Empress Valeth stood in her garden. The crystal mountains glowed in the sunset light. Beside her was Serana, taller now, marked by everything she had lived through. "You have changed," Valeth said. "The daughter who left is not the daughter who came back. Is that a problem?" "No, it is a hope come true." Valeth looked at her. "When I sent you to learn from the human, I did not know what would happen. I only knew that our people needed something new, something to wake us up. You have become that something. Nathan deserves the credit. He showed me what it means to really live. And now? What will you do?" Serana was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled in the way she had learned from humans. "I will keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing forward no matter what gets in my way. I will be relentless." Valeth laughed. It was a rare sound from the ancient empress. "Then the human taught you well. May you carry that lesson always." Across the galaxy, on a ship heading toward new frontiers, Nathan received a message. It was from Serana. Just 3 words in the human style she had adopted. Still moving forward, he smiled and typed back, "Always." The ship carried him onward, toward whatever came next. Whatever wonders and problems and adventures waited out there in the stars. He was not afraid. He had already died once and come back. Whatever the universe threw at him, he would face it. He would adapt. He would survive. That was what humans did. They hoped. They fought. They built. They dreamed. And they never, ever gave up. Nathan Cole looked out at the stars rushing past his window. Once he had been a nobody. A cargo worker on a forgotten ship. Lost and alone in the dark. Now he was something more. A teacher, a peacemaker, a bridge between worlds. And this was just the beginning. The universe was infinite. There would always be more to explore, more to learn, more to become. As long as there were humans out there, reaching for the next horizon, the story would never truly end. That was the point. That was the whole point, not the destination. The journey. And what a journey it had been. What a journey it would continue to be. Forever forward, forever hopeful. Forever human.